Hi, everyone. Happy holidays. It's Maria Fry. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. I hope everyone is doing well, staying healthy. So I'm really excited about these 365 classes because so much has changed and so many organizations are actually going over to Teams from Zoom and doing a whole bunch of new things with 365. So I'm really excited that we have Robert Kratzke, a certified Microsoft super specialist. Is that the proper title? Or did I make you a superhero? I don't know,
Yeah,
Robert.
I think that works. I like that. I like that.
He kind of likes that. Okay, so that works for me too. So hopefully you could get some great tidbits of information tonight, implement them, use them, show your companies. If you're looking for a job, it's great to be able to add this also onto your resume that you know how to utilize these new features. And I'm excited to get started. So I hope you'll enjoy tonight. What we're going to be doing is all your questions, please put them in the chat box and then I will read them to Robert. That way we can stay streamlined, we can move fast, a lot faster, and we can get your questions answered as well. So any questions, please just put them in the chat box, which is at the very bottom. You see a little sign there. It says chat. Just click on that and you can put your chat, your question, whatever it is, your comment in there, and we can take care of it for you. Okay. So I hope you enjoy this. And Robert, take it away.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Maria.
Thank you.
So let me just share my screen first, and then where they go. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. All right. Thanks everybody for joining us tonight. Just to make sure, so is everybody seeing the PowerPoint presentation?
Yes.
That's showing up on your screen? Okay. All right. So all right. So do you see the screen? It says the appointment time, Monday night, or is it the Microsoft 365 screen?
It's a 365 screen.
Okay, I just want to say, I'm sorry, I got two different monitors going, and I just wanted to make sure I was looking at the same thing here. Okay, so thanks. So what we're going to talk today about is a few things here. We're going to go through with. I'm sorry, my screen is. Okay, so we're going to talk to start out just a little bit about what Microsoft 365 is now. Okay, so we have there's business versions of Microsoft Office now. There's some personal versions. You have things that you work on your desktop on your own computer, like computer software that typically you download Word and you have it on your desktop. You also have Word Online. We're going to look at the differences and how this works together and what are the different ways you can kind of get Office, right? So you have a little understanding about just what it is now. It's like I said, the 365 thing has changed, and we'll briefly talk about that. Then we're going to look at some of the different products, the regular products in Microsoft, right? Word, Excel, PowerPoint, some new features, some tips and tricks, and some things there. And then we're going to look at some of the new tools which are in Office. Okay, and you'll see a whole list of different applications that are in Office now. That again, it's much more than just Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and Outlook. Right? There's a whole series of things now to be more productive with. So we're going to look at what these different apps are, and show you some of the ways that they work, and some of the ways again how you can use them. So we're going to be covering a lot of things, and I think when talking about when you're learning new things like this, especially around Microsoft Office, right now things are changing often. They're adding new features and new things in every single day.
Paul.
So the key thing you want to be thinking about really is not necessarily how do I do everything, But if you understand what it can do, right, it's very easy these days to ask Google, go to, search and say, how do I do something, right? If you know what it can do. So if you think about just the concept about what it can do, where do I go to find things, you're going to be able to accomplish a lot more with it. And then the other thing is too, that again, it does so many things, you don't need to know how to do everything. You're going to look for the things that you need for your job. What can you do better? What can you do? There's a million things out there, but you only need one or two things to do your job, typically, right? So, it's complex to everybody, but it's because there's so much stuff. So anybody that's new to it, again, it seems like a lot, but the whole idea is really to concentrate on what you can do, what you can do better, and where, what you need to know. You don't need to know everything. Okay, so let's get started into this. So Microsoft 365, the whole idea behind this, it's about anytime, anywhere, any place, right? So I can access my information from any kind of device, whether I'm on a laptop, whether I'm on my phone, whether I'm on a desktop computer, whether I'm traveling on a cruise ship, hopefully one day when we don't feel safe getting on a ship again. You can go on the ship and just log into the ship computer, and you can have access to every single thing you have and everything that you do right there on it. So that's the new thing about 365 and what they call the cloud, is that everything isn't just saved on your computer, right? On your local computer, or in if you work in a company, in the server room, right? That one room down the hall where everything is. That's not where things are kept now. It's actually kept out in, the hallway at Microsoft, right? Or in hundreds of different locations around the world that they store the information and back it up. So that's all their responsibility now. They're taking that job in to do all that work behind the scenes for you. And all you have to do is log into your machine, and it's just there for you. So that's where it is. Okay. So I'm gonna hop over onto the internet. Okay. And right here, I'm logged into office.com. Okay. Are we seeing the Office Good Evening page?
Yes.
Okay. Just want to make sure. Right. So all they do is log into office.com. And when you log in, it's going to ask you for your username and password. But once you're on it, it's going to remember you, right? You're not going to have to necessarily log in every time on your devices. So if you put, check the box to remember me, right? And if you're in a secure location in your machine, it will just log you in each time. So it will remember you as you're going along. Okay. So this is the home page when you go to office.com, right? So as we look at it here, you'll see some different things I was working on today or recently, right? Here's a document for a networking group put together. This is this presentation that I just started out showing here. So typically you got to think about when you're working on something, you go back and you go into work the next day, typically you're working on the same things, right? The thing you worked on yesterday, you're going to keep working on. So they put right up front and center all the different applications that you've worked on recently. And I can scroll over here a little more, and you see Word documents, PowerPoint documents, pictures, my son's resume, receipt for my car, all different things. So all different things that have been worked on recently, they're right here. So you don't have to go into Word or Excel or PowerPoint to find it. Right on your desktop, right there, all your information is right there at your fingertips. Along the left side is some of the different applications that are included, right? We have Word, Excel, PowerPoint. These are online versions of Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. Okay, so I'm logged into I'm on the internet. You can see I'm on the browser at the top, right? There's a web address. If I click on Word, it's going to open up the Word application specifically. Okay, and you'll see this looks very much like your desktop version of Word, which we'll look at in 1 second here. So right now we're on the Word kind of homepage. Here I can open up a new document. There's templates here. And then below it, you see recommended or all the recent things I worked on. Recent documents. Scroll down further, there's a list of all recent documents that I've worked on. Shared with me, if somebody shared a document with me. I have documents that are listed here under shared. These are things that different people shared with me. You see on the right here, Christina, Jim, Andrea, Tom, they all shared different documents with me. So again, I don't have to go to my email to find these documents. When somebody shared something with me, I'll get an email that says, hey, here's a document, but right now, I don't have to go search for that. It's going to be right here. All the recent things that got sent to me are here, right? And you see the dates too, December 4th, November 17th, today, different various times today. So it makes it very easy to find things, whatever you need to work on, again, without even really having to look for it. The things are here.
Robert, there's a question.
Yep.
It pertains to basically an account in general. An individual had Word and Excel on their desktop and then last year installed 365 when it was included with the laptop purchase. Now a year later, they're getting a message telling them that their subscription is due. Is this something that they have to utilize year or pay for year after year, or can they renew or utilize the older version? They can, I think if I'm not mistaken, I think they could go online and use the online version for free.
Yep.
Is that correct?
Yeah, we're gonna look at that in a couple of minutes, the differences to it, and generally for certain of the features and for the amount of storage, you get a little bit of storage with the free version, but you don't get as much. So you may need a paid version just because it gives you more tools with it. And we'll see all the different things you get with the paid version compared to a free version. Okay. So we're not going to spend a lot of time looking at the how things are saved. The next week's session is going to be focused on OneDrive, which is a Microsoft storage thing, and that's where again all your documents and all these things are actually stored in OneDrive. Or SharePoint is another thing. Is it just another name of shared documents? But we'll be focused on how they're kept and where you get the things and how you share things after. But again, so here's your home page. If I open up one of these documents on the online version, okay, so it's opening up on the web. I don't need to even have Word or Excel, anything on my computer. This opens up on the web. I could be on any device. I could even be on my phone. I could be on a iPad. So here's a document here. Okay. Along the top, it gives you some choices. I can edit it here online. I can download it. Let them in. I can save it to my drive. Gives you all these choices right here as you go in. Okay. I'm going to click to edit it. And now here I'm on the document. And you'll notice here, actually, this came in from an email, this one. So the email that this document came in on is here on the right. Okay.
Robert, there's one question here. Is Office.com the same as logging into your Microsoft account from prior years?
I believe so. I believe it will. Again, depending how far back you are, those Hotmail accounts and maybe some other pages that aren't compatible per se, or there's actually a business login and then there's a personal login, and they're merging them together. So it's really going to be about the same, but there is two different web addresses to go through on, but most likely you'd be going through Office.com. So, all right. So here again, I'm on the web doing this here, and also in the top here, editing. If I click on this at the very top, it gives me the opportunity to open it up on my desktop as well. Okay. Okay. All right. So this is, again, here we see the ribbon and all the things you have here, right? Your home page, which has all your formatting, insert things, all your different choices and stuff are here. I'm going to flip down to the desktop Word and open up something in Word on my desktop, okay? And you get your same thing on the desktop: file, home, insert, drawer, design. Basically, all the same tabs are there. On your desktop version, they do give you a few more choices, or they lay it out a little bit different, spread it out a little bit more, but all based on the same feature. Almost all the same features are on both versions.
So that's both home and Office, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. So it's Word Online and Word on your desktop, the full version. Most of the same things you can do. There are some additional, more advanced editing features, some things where you're limited on, maybe bookmarks and, creating certain, maybe adding in video and certain other things. There's going to be some more advanced features that won't be on the online version, but mainly everything that you do about editing a document, bolding it, changing the fonts and things like that are all in the online version. So 95% of what you need to do are there. And for most people, probably 100% of what you need is even online. Okay. So they're going to be, again, work very, compatibly. When you update something on your desktop, it's going to update it in the online version also, okay? Because it's storing it out online and it's connected in both places. So it doesn't matter where you are, you work in either place, it's going to be working in both places for you.
A quick question. Someone said that they have Microsoft 365. When they're trying to do a search in the middle of the page, it has Microsoft, all caps, and in the upper left-hand corner, it says new tab. What is this? Why can't I use Internet Explorer or Google? I'm not sure what that is exactly, and I'm usually pretty good about that.
Yeah. Well, you can use any of the browsers to get on here. So where exactly you're searching from, I'm not sure what the question is for exactly. All right. So, all right. Okay. So just what we want to get in place here is that these two versions are going to work the same way. As I do something here, so let me actually open up the same document on both. So. I'm going to get this out of the way so I can see here. LSIB 2020. Okay. Okay. All right. So I just went to the recent documents and opened this up. It's actually showing here just because I'm not kind of logged in yet online. When I tried to open a document, it's asking me to log in. You're typically not going to have many accounts. I work with multiple different companies, so I have many accounts. So it asked me which account I'm opening.
Robert, there was a quick question. How does one know if they have the new 365 version? My laptop is about 6 months old.
Yep. Okay. I'll let Jenna, we'll look at that in just a second here. So I'm going to move this to the side here on this half of the screen. This is the online version of this document. And then on this side, I'm going to click on the regular version of Word. Tabs. Okay, so here I have the same document on both sides here. Okay. Okay, if you notice on the left, I'm typing on the left. It's where the window that I'm typing in on the left here, just typed in an R, okay? And if you look on the right side, below the picture, the R is filling in there also. I was starting to type my name. Yeah. Come on, not updating. Okay, so I typed on the one and it filled out on the other one as well. So they're really both documents are live. They look a little bit unlined up because I'm on kind of half the screen. So just kind of fitting it in where it is. But, and also it shows you with a little dot here, right here. I just moved my mouse over here. It says here, Robert just edited this just right now. And you see my initials showed up right above there as well. Here's my name, Robert. So if someone else is in the document also, right, if you share the document with them, you can edit it at the same time as someone else. And you will both see the changes going on in real time, and it will save everything in real time. So any work that gets done, if you lose your internet connection, you're not going to lose your work. It's saving it every second as you go along and do your work. Okay. So again, doesn't matter whether I'm working here on the desktop version is on the left, and on the right side is the, I'm going to type in now on the web side. Okay, and just so I typed in on the web, and it showed up on the left on the desktop version. So they're both connected in, and it doesn't matter which version that you're using. Again, you're going to be able to do most of the same things, and it's all going to be saved together and remembered once you leave at the end of the session. Okay. So,
okay, we have a question here.
Yep. And as I'm flipping over now to just the website, that we're going to look at the couple different versions, and we can answer these kind of questions about what do I have and where do I look for it and things like that.
Okay, just one quick question.
Yep,
is editing synchronized for all files, documents, regardless of whether they're stored in the OneDrive?
No, there are ways to sync up in different areas, but basically no, it's what you're syncing, everything's syncing up to OneDrive. There are ways to sync things with Dropbox, or you could sync with Google Drive. You can sync with a lot of different things. But when you're working around with Office directly, what's built in with the Focus is the Office Online, Office Desktop, it's working with the OneDrive. That's the whole kind of framework of 365, that it's all tied together with your drives, right? And it's saved there. Again, you could sync up things locally, just like it had in the past in your office or on your regular desktop, and not worry about using OneDrive. But again, the power of this is that you make it accessible, so that you can connect it and sync it all through the OneDrive. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. I'm flipping back to the. I'm on the online version of Word here. A little quick thing on the top left of it. See the little waffle in the top corner. You click on that little waffle, and that shows you all the applications that are here. We're going to look into this list here. But this is how you jump over to the other applications when you're online. On the right side, where I have my little picture here in the icon, the far right corner, this is where you'll find out what your account is, what you have, right? View account. And from here, I can determine what type of license I have here. Office apps, subscriptions, choices along the side here. And if I look at subscriptions, it's going to tell me what subscription I have, so you'll know what version you have from here. Okay, subscriptions, view subscriptions. So I have Office Microsoft 365 Business Standard, tells me all the different applications that I have included. You see there's a big long list of things that are included with it. It's not just Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, right? Actually, it doesn't even mention any of those here. It says Word, Office for the web, which is all those, and the latest desktop versions of Office, right? So this one choice right here, I got highlighted, latest version of Office, that's Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook. All those other things are all other programs that are now included that were never there before as part of Office. Okay, and we'll look at those a little bit later. But this should be all the things. I also have video, audio conferencing, which adds a phone number to my Teams conferences, so people could join by audio on the phone or through the web. So again, that's where you would check again from this corner here. Also, if you have multiple accounts, they are starting to all show up here. I'm going to view accounts again here, and they're just changing this login here now. Looking up top left, my account. I'm going to see if that's where. It's going to be showing up very soon here. It might be here. Organizations. Okay, this is new. They just added this icon. This just got added in very recently. But this is now organizations. So this would show if you had multiple accounts or a personal account. You can see again, I'm connected to many different companies. So I'm connected and I'm logged in and authenticated to all these different companies. So if you have a business account, you have a personal account, they're all going to be accessible now through here. So you can flip back and forth between them. Again, if you need to get your personal information, personal documents, or your business documents, or you have the ability to get right through the one platform. You don't have to log in and log out. I'm already logged into all these companies. I can click into the Sugar and Law's account of mine and get to the documents in their network. Okay, because I'm an authorized user in their account. So, all right. All right. So this is a link on Microsoft.com. Okay. All I did was search. I searched Microsoft 365 Business versus Personal. Okay. And it shows you the different solutions that are here. Okay. Right. So you have a personal version. You have a family version. Right. Family gives you up to 6 people can be logged in for the one price for the year, $99 a year or $9.99 a month. So you save a little bit if you pay for the yearly. Otherwise, they'll just bill you every month, right? And you can provide your credit card and they'll bill it out at that. Okay, shows you all the applications that you get typically with both. It's pretty much the same things you get on whether you're personal and family, just about how many accounts do you get, okay? On a personal account here, again, if you had this at home and it was, say you and your wife, you could share an account, but all your files would be intermingled. If you had family, everybody's got their own login, so all your stuff is separate. So your kids can't screw up your work, lose a document of yours, right? Right now, if it's on your computer, somebody else could be using your computer and they can get into your files, they could look at anything, they can move things, they could delete it, they could write over it, right? When it's here and it's saved into the cloud there under your account, nobody else can get to it because they have to when they log into their account, their email, they can't see your stuff. Okay. You can share your things with everybody, right? You can share it with the whole family. So certain things could be shared. They would show up in a shared file. But so this is the main differences of what you get between a family account and the personal account. Okay. Also, if you have students who are in school, college, or high school, elementary school, students can get this for free. They can get the free version of it. It's basically like a personal version for the student. And most of the schools give it for free. Again, in the school, high school, whatever, I don't know if they, it's probably case-by-case basis as to how they distribute that or what they do with that. But as a student, you can get a free account. So you don't necessarily need a family account for your kids because they should be able to have their own account, depending on their grade level and where they are in their school. So that's something to look into. Before you pay for it, they may have it for free already. Certainly, if they're going to college, they have it as well. Okay, so that's the personal version. You also get storage with these. So I think it's like a terabyte of storage. It's a lot of space that you get. Most people aren't going to have to worry about it. And that's part of you see OneDrive, it says down here, that's the drive, and you get that here. These are all the desktop apps. It doesn't note here, but there is a free version, and the free version would get a very small OneDrive. And then the applications are online only. You can only access them if you're connected to the internet and you go online, and you can use that online version. But you can, again, save it still to your OneDrive. It will save it for you and it'll keep it and connect everything. But again, there's going to be a little bit limited functionality, a little bit less functionality, and you need to be connected to the internet, right? So if you go to Starbucks and their Wi-Fi is down, you can't work on your Word document and access it. You need an internet connection for the online version. All right. Business here. So this is a small business section, which actually goes up to a couple hundred employees. So you'll see the pricing is very similar to the personal version. Okay, Business Basic is the first one. That this doesn't give you the desktop applications. That's right. And a lot of companies, a lot of people don't use Word, Excel, PowerPoint. You don't need to pay, pay for that for them, those extra costs. So they get just the online version, or the next step up gives you all the, full desktop versions of everything here. Okay. What the business version gets to, it ties in, brings in a lot more things into security, right? For an individual person, if you're a sole proprietor, you have your own business, you could use a personal version and have just about everything the same. Business is going to especially be more valuable when you have people on your team, you're working together, you're in the same company, because you want to be able to share information more effectively. So
Robert,
yeah.
I'm sorry, we have actually 2 questions. Yep. Is there any difference between the PC version and the Mac version? That was the first.
There are some differences just because they're two different platforms. So some of the functionality is going to be a little bit different here. They're for the most part, most of the things are the same.
Great.
And then if you use the online versions with respect to the Mac, the online version is the same because you're online. Doesn't matter whether you're Word for the Mac or Word for the regular one for the PC. Online, they're the same.
Great. The second question was, if you stop paying, do you lose access to your docs?
At a certain point, you will lose access to the functionality and the features of the software. Your documents, you get a OneDrive for free, but it's very small. So it's going to tell you either you got to pay for storage, which you could pay for that, which might be $1 a month, $2 a month, depending on how much extra storage you need. So it's very, fairly inexpensive in the scheme of things. So you shouldn't lose things as long as when they tell you, act on whatever they tell you. Okay, either renew it or make sure size-wise that you're keeping what you need is not going to disappear.
Okay,
because
great.
It will at a certain point if you don't.
And one more question. It seems that my work laptop is registered to my boss. Does that limit my ability to do anything?
Not necessarily. And so if a company can give you a laptop and they can put a lot of different kind of restrictions on it over and above what Microsoft Office does in itself, right? They can actually, not let you go to certain websites. They can control all kinds of things. So there's not really a blanket answer to your specific situation. But as to the Microsoft and what's in the cloud and where you store things, they have access to it, right? They can certainly see everything that you're doing, right? Their administrators have access to get into your folders and files, just like in the office when you had it on the server, right? The administrators there have access to everything. So the same basic access is there. And like I said, if it's their computer, they can put certain different restrictions on it. They can monitor what you can doing. They could see, we were just looking at an application today, can see how long you are on, somebody was on Facebook all day. They can actually monitor remotely, especially if it's their computer and you're using it, they can look at those things and track where you're spending your time. Okay. So the two business version very, very similar. So the two big differences is that, again, there's more security built into the team when you have multiple people within a company, right? There's much more security features on there, so the costs can go up for certain other features to be able to make it compliant and meet different regulations. There's a lot of things that Office can do. I mean, it can look at your documents, and if you have a social security number in it, it can prevent you from sending it to someone. These are the kind of controls that they can have in that they can really monitor everything within the system and keep it secure and keep whatever regulations the company has, they can lock down and control what happens with things. They can, again, prevent you from sending a document out if it has certain information in, or if it's deemed as private or sensitive or high, so that's it, right. And then what also the business version does, it also gives some other, we're going to look at some of the tools that it has to kind of automate your processes and do some things more effective. We're going to look at that in a little bit. So all those extra applications, when I clicked on that waffle and all those apps showed up there, and that list of apps where it showed what subscription I had, all those extra features, many of them some of them are business only versions of things. And you wouldn't necessarily have those on the personal version. So you're going to get a little more potential, again, functionality in the business version for close to the same price or a couple dollars more to have that. Okay. All right. So, right. Did we miss any questions about the kind of licensing or any things like that that we had out? I know there was one I wanted to, I think, flip back on when we got there.
Let me back up because we had a few that I was answering myself. Let me see. Do you have, I think, any difference between, let's see. How does one know if they have the 365 version? My laptop is about 6 months old. There was that one.
Yep. So that was, again, going to the top right corner and clicking on your icon and looking to see when you're logged in which version you have. That's gonna.
I don't think I see anything else in here. I think we answered them. I think we're good. If anybody has any questions or if maybe I missed something in here, just let me know.
Okay. Okay. So, all right. So I'm going to show it. So if somebody does have, it sounds like at least some people have business accounts as well, right? Everybody potentially can have a personal account, but also you may have a business account. So I'm logged into Word right now. This is the desktop version of Word. And if you look up in the top right here, it says, right, Robert Kratzke, RK. I move my mouse over it and actually shows you my email address. Okay, Robert at bestteched.org. I'm signed in under that account. If I click on that, what you just open up here is, again, I could have multiple accounts that I can log into, right? So I don't have my personal, here's my personal account, Robert at Gmail, okay? So that would give me access to my personal OneDrive documents. So if I clicked in there. So right now, when I go and I look in my file, and I, file, and if I go, so all my documents here, my recent document stuff, these are ones within my business account. Okay. If I switch to my personal, it's going to give me access to different things. And I go in there. Okay. So if you have trouble opening up a business document, make sure that you're logged into the business and not your personal, because it won't recognize, if it's a protected document for the company, it won't let you open it. It's going to say, it's going to say there's an error or something with it. It's going to tell you you're not allowed access to that document. And it's because you may have chosen your personal version. Again, if you have a personal account. If you only have the business account or you only have a personal account, you're not going to have choices there. But I'm just letting, just a little thing to be aware for anybody that does have multiple accounts. It's now right accessible here. You used to have to log out and log back in to get to your things. So now it's created so you don't have to do that. You can access it, again, right from the same place. And you have this when you're on the desktop version. You also have similar thing on the web version here. Okay, you can get through and log into different accounts through here as well. Right, telling me now I'm in the Best Tech version, but I could be in a different account just as well. And I won't have to log in and out for it. Okay. All right. So, move this out of the way if I can.
Robert, we have a question regarding security. So this individual is asking, I have a personal 365 account as well as a business 365 account from work. My work does not provide a laptop. Hence, I am using my own. My concern is that my work IT department can access my personal 365 files. Can you please address the security if a person has both a personal and business account using the same laptop?
Yeah. Okay. So your personal things, they don't have access to necessarily. Let me say, there's two ways. Again, depending on what they're able to access on the computer, they might be able to access all the documents that you have on your laptop. Okay. But your personal things, you don't necessarily have to have on your laptop. Okay. So what OneDrive is all your things are kept off of your laptop. Right. So the whole idea is you're storing it off there. You don't have to store it on your computer also. Kind of just some semantics, right? We're talking about. So I'm going to look at my File Explorer, right? The folder at the bottom. And I think we're going to probably get into more of this stuff next week. So we'll just really touch on it real briefly, because next week we're going to be talking about OneDrive and accessing documents and things like that. But security-wise, this is my folders here, right? So typically, right, you have your C drive and you have all your folders here. You also have your OneDrive folders here, okay? And this, so right now I'm clicked on OneDrive. You see I'm under, let me click on this one here, this folder. So if we look here in the address right in the middle, OneDrive, GlobeNet, the folder is Flow Solutions. There's a folder in here, approvals, and then I have a series of documents that are all saved within this folder on my computer here, right? If you see where it says status, some of these have a cloud, and the one here has one has a check mark, okay? The ones that have a cloud means that it's not really on my computer. The document's saved on the cloud. If I click on it, it's going to open the document, just like I had it on my computer, but it's not getting it from my computer, it's getting it from Microsoft's computer, wherever it's stored in the cloud. Okay, so all of these documents aren't really on my computer. This one, watch Excel, this Excel spreadsheet, this is something I wanted to have available to make sure, even if I wasn't connected. So it was a project I was working on with a client. And when I went on site to them, if for some reason I didn't have a connection, I still have it because I saved it on my computer also. So in your case, if you're on a business computer, your personal documents, don't save them on your computer. Keep it in the cloud. You can still access it from your computer, from the folder. You're just not storing it on your computer. And if they click on any of these folders, if they go into your computer and click on it, they don't have your password, they can't get into it. Okay, so all your stuff is secure even on your business computers, as long as you, again, keep it stored on the cloud, not on your desktop. Okay, so we'll get more into that next week, really talking about using and sharing and working with things. Okay. All right. So we kind of covered, again, the desktop and online. Again, they are the same thing, right? Same, all the applications, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, work the same on both. It's just a matter of which, using the power, using it over the internet or using it on your own desktop, okay? That's the real main differences. They all generally, as long as, again, you have it set up right, they will all sync together. And whenever you connect to the internet, if you're offline, it's going to connect on and connect up and make everything the same. Is there any other last questions around kind of licensing? What is it? What are the programs, differences online versus the desktop?
The only question that I see here is if you are syncing the standard Windows folders, desktop, documents, pictures, etc., aren't the files available with or without an internet connection?
If you save it to your computer, it's available without an internet connection. Mm-hmm. Okay, it's a matter of saving it. Again, we'll look at how to do it next week. It's easy. It's a one-click thing. I can go up to any of these choices here and right-click on it and choose to keep it only on my computer or on both, one or the other. So again, next week is we're going to focus on understanding what that all works. So it makes it clearer about that. Okay. All right. So next piece we're going to look at, I'm going to go jump in a couple of different applications, the basic standard, standard Word, Excel, PowerPoint, a couple of tips and tricks, new things. Some might be new, some might be just older things that a lot of people don't typically know about, and some are brand new things. So we'll click on here. All right. So I'm going to click into the PowerPoint that I had for this. We started that in just because I can use that to demonstrate from here. So, all right. So first thing in PowerPoint, there's some great new features to, again, think about we're doing this over Zoom right now, right? A lot of people are doing much more things through Zoom, sharing things online in all different ways now, right? It's really becoming the norm. So recently the features within Zoom and within the Microsoft's version of things have become very powerful and really focused on people working remotely and communicating better. So I'm going to click into, so I'm in PowerPoint here, and I'm going to click in slide, I'm clicking on slideshow.
Robert, there was one question.
Yep.
Won't the most recently used file list and the metadata still be shared to the work account cloud, even if you're using local files or using a work account on Office 365?
All right. Can you repeat that one more time? Because there was a lot in there.
I know. I don't know if you can see the chat box there. It's, won't the most recently used file list and the metadata still be shared to the work account cloud, even if you're using local files or using a work account on Office 365?
What's going to show up recent is things that are recently in OneDrive. Right? If you're not saving it to OneDrive, you're not connected. It's not part of, I don't think it's showing up in the recent documents at all.
And it says,
it will show it. Some of it will show locally. If you're on the desktop version of Word, it will show recent things, recent places that you were on your desktop, even outside of OneDrive. But again, if it's saved on your computer, they're going to be able to access that information. If it's on OneDrive and it's a personal document, they might be able to see the name of it, but they're not going to be able to get the content of it.
Okay.
So I think that may have covered the question much. If it didn't, we can address it later or send another, send me another message and we can look at it in more detail, the specific issue with it. But again, when you get into security, I think sometimes, again, if you're on a work computer or anything like that, it doesn't matter about how they've set it up, because they can put restrictions over and above everything that you do on the machine compared to, again, they can, there's all kinds of technology to do very intrusive things, we'll say. All right, so. Flip back here. I'm actually going to flip onto the web, because one of the features here, you need to be on the web version to show it. So I think click on here and see if this will give it to us here. Okay. Okay, so I just clicked on here, slideshow, always use subtitles. Okay, so spoken language, I'm just putting the settings here, is English. My subtitles can be in English, or they could be in another language. So say you're doing a presentation for a group, maybe your company has a lot of Spanish speaking people in it, right? So I put on Spanish subtitles. When I click on, I start the presentation here. Okay, hello everyone. Thanks for joining us for this presentation. The subtitles should be showing up, but they are not showing up. All right. But I turned it on. Maybe I didn't turn it on. I got always use subtitles. Above the slide, below the slide. Try it one more time.
Robert, when you're ready, we have a little, I guess, clarification on that question that was asked.
Okay. So, all right. So let me just try out this feature here, see if it's working. It is not working right now. Right, I had it going before. So I'll try it again after. So you get not a good showing of it, but you can take my word that typically you can have the presentation showing up with subtitles right here as you're going on. And again, it could be used for even if you're in a loud place and you have to join the presentation, right? And if subtitles are on, you can read along with it. Or if you're on your phone, you're on a smaller device, right? You can read along and watch along on it as you're doing that. Okay, let's go to, all right. Another feature in here is rehearse. Rehearse with a coach. Let's see if it, all right, so let's try it here. Rehearse with a coach. The choice here, again, this is on the slideshow menu in Excel online. Okay, I have to allow my microphone. Maybe my microphone wasn't allowed before. That might have been what stopped it before. Okay. Windows blocked here. Okay, here it is. Start rehearsing the presentation. Okay, and it's going to give us feedback as we go along with it. Okay, so this is, again, you can practice your presentation skills, practice your presentation. And right now it's recording me. It's listening to what I say. If I do and or, and I'm not sure what I'm saying, try not using too many ums. It's letting me know and critiquing me as I'm going along. Okay.
Nothing like a computer critiquing you.
Yes. And they check into a lot of different things and even different language that you're using. And I think some of it's even a little overkill, but if you talk about that, maybe doing a career presentation and you talk about, I think a great job for people is to become a policeman. Policemen are really good people. And if you notice this here, you might not want to use policeman, right? You might want to use police person now. So depending on the environment where you're working, who you're giving the presentation to, there's lots of different things that they go into. If you meant to do any curse words, we'll leave those out for now. But there's certain things and different things in language, incendiary language that they will screen out from it. And so again, you can go through your entire presentation. I don't have the presentation open right now here, but okay. So click there, and when you're done, here's your rehearsal report. Okay, we spent 1 minute and 18 seconds. One slide, we never really started the slides. Fillers, here's some of the words that I used. Maybe I shouldn't use these words, right? Originality. Did you read your slide? Right? A lot of people go, there's the bullet points, and what do? They go to the slide and they read the bullet points. Okay, that's boring. That's not a good presentation. So if you do that, it will tell you yet you're reading from the slide. Try using different words. Let people read the slide, and you talk about the whys of it, right? Things like that. So you can have a little better presentation. Shows your pace, kind of things are going in, how many words per minute. Are you going too fast, slow? They give you recommendations. Sensitive phrases. I said policeman. I should use police officer instead, maybe. And other things like that they may show out there. Speech refinements. I haven't seen this before. Policemen are really good. Maybe you don't need the really. You should just say good. I know. As you're going through it. So, so interesting here. Learn more. When you go learn more, it gives you more detail about all the different things that they check and what they're looking on. Inclusive stuff now, right? Disabilities, gender, sexual orientation. If you mention these things now, it's going to let you know, so that you can again be aware of what you're saying, what you're doing. Coaching. Originality tells you what they're checking on, how they're doing it. Speech refinement, so it's more grammar kind of stuff. So a lot of cool things in there. And if you're not comfortable doing speeches, you have to talk in front of a group, great way to practice it right there. Even if you don't use the PowerPoint, you can still use the coach. So, and again, it's only on the online version, although I did it earlier in the regular version and it just jumped me online, or it used the online engine to report on me. But right now, as I'm logged in, I just don't see they might have moved the icon or something for it.
So Robert, if I wanted to use this and I opened up a PowerPoint And now I have 365 on all my computers in the office. So what would happen? Would I be able to tap into that somehow? Or do I have to log out of this and then log into my account online? How does that work?
Yeah, I think you have to log into the online version. Although again, I think earlier I did it without being on the online version. So they're adding, kind of functionality. Look, I think it pulled me at, the engine to critique me was using the online version, but I was running the presentation on my desktop.
Got it.
I'm pretty sure I was, although I might not have, because they look almost the same too. So I might have thought I was in that and didn't realize it. But because I just don't see it here now on there with. So, all right. So, all right. Okay. All right. So, all right. Let me just open up a new document here. Okay, I'm just open up a blank PowerPoint presentation, and I'm going to grab a few things and put it on my clipboard. Or actually, I probably have clipboard here already. So one thing, I think a lot of people either don't know is there or they forget that it's there, right? We know how to copy and paste things, right? If you copy something, you can paste it somewhere. But when you're in Office, it remembers more than just the last thing that you copied. So underneath where paste is, there's a little arrow here. It says clipboard. When you click on that, it opens up this clipboard dropdown. These are all different things that I've saved today, or maybe yesterday, maybe the last few days since I've been logged in, right? You see icon, you see pictures, you see words about things that have been copied and pasted here. Could be a table, something from PowerPoint is a pictures. I don't have the whole PowerPoint, or I copied it from PowerPoint. So all these different things here. So what I can do is I can click on these different things. It's going to drop it into my PowerPoint. So there's that icon here. I got this icon here, and let's put this one in here. Okay. So I just dropped in 3 different pictures, right? And also might get some words, something here. Saved. All right, I'm going to leave that. I have a box here. I'm going to put some words right in here. Okay, all right. So I got 3 different pictures or icons on here. And I got a box here, which we can't see because it's kind of behind the other picture, where I just put in some words, Microsoft training in the box here. Move it out so we can see it here. Right, you saw Microsoft training in the background is there. All right. All right, so on the design page within this here, there's a box called Design Ideas. Why is it not? It was just there a second ago and my ideas went away. Okay, here they are, just jumped in. Okay. So design ideas. So look, it just took all my pictures here and rearranged them for me. Okay. And it gives me different choices. So if I scroll down here, these are different ways that I can lay out this, right? So here I got some content and words they put in one area, and then they got my icon, my other pictures in these other boxes. Okay. Think about how long this would have taken you to design something like this. And come up with a cool looking presentation, right? All I did was put 3 pictures on the page, and I have a box with some text in it.
And Robert, if I can interject for just one second. What I also noticed with this feature is that if you have an older PowerPoint and you open it up, it will actually show you on the right-hand side all the different things you can do with it now. So even if
you can take an old presentation, and again, when you open the new tool, you just turn on Design Ideas, and it will redesign it for you.
Yeah, that's
amazing. And you can do it really quickly. And I have to figure out how to sometimes make, maybe I would have liked these in a different order. I'm sure you can probably work with a little bit better, but it kind of a little clumsy about trying to move things around from their design, because they kind of create this template and backgrounds and stuff like that. But it's really amazing what you can do in seconds. You get some really nice different layouts here. And down below, you can't really see it here, but there's a button that says more, and they'll keep giving you more choices. Do it here. Okay. And again, in seconds, this layout changes. Right. Really amazing way to do some PowerPoint presentations. Cool. Okay. All right. Another well, fairly new. It's not a brand new thing, but I'm going to insert into a PowerPoint. All right, let's get to a. Go back here. Okay. All right. So I'm going to just go back into the PowerPoint and show you the feature coming up from the current slide. Okay. So you're seeing the PowerPoint presentation now. I'm going to click onto the next page. Did my PowerPoint window open up to the presentation page?
Office 365 Unleashed.
Yeah, it's on that page with 3 different kind of icons on it.
Yep.
Yeah, the presentation isn't going. It's opening behind me. Presentation doesn't want to start. All right, just going to look at it on the regular version here.
Is Zoom fighting it again?
No, I don't think so. I think may just have too many things open and other things going on. All right, so see this image on the right here. Come on. Yeah, PowerPoint just doesn't want to work right now. All right, let's. Okay. All right. So anyway, I have this image selected here on the right, this dinosaur. And they have now in 3D models that are built in here. So I'm going to choose up here at the top left the choices now. So when I selected something that's a 3D image, it opens up a new tab called 3D model. And that gives you all different choices so you can do different things. Okay, play. We'll show what's currently set up. Scenes are different actions that they will do. They don't want to do it here. Let me gonna close down some of the applications. Maybe I got too many things going. Okay, see, there he goes now. See him walking around? So just had too many things running here at the same time. Right. So these motions and tools and stuff for it on things are now built right into PowerPoint. Okay. It's insert. One of the choices of inserting is 3D models here. Insert a 3D model. And they've got all kinds of stock models. They have a whole bunch that you could go on here and pick and enter into your presentation. okay? These are all 3D. The ones that have a little person here means that they're animated and they have actions. They'll do different things. So this dinosaur model here, right, has actions going on. So he's walking around here. You do actions by the 3D model tab, go to scenes on the left, and I can add in different scenes. And you'll see him start to do different things as you try out the different scenes. All right, standing up, looking around. A little nasty looking, coming after you. You can also create motion, so you can have him actually walking and this moving along, and he'll be walking across the presentation, right?
I love that feature.
Different things like that. So you can create motion things to go along at the same time. I haven't played with this a lot, but, and again, all the different views, you can move him around so that you see him from a different view, go in different areas.
Robert, can you tell me where you got that from or how you embedded that in there?
You go to insert,
okay,
and you pick 3D models.
That is
it's
awesome.
Just like adding in a picture or adding in a shape. Okay, because it's a 3D model, it gives you now these special choices, right? Different, you can get them in different, directions where
And
he's
what
standing
about
up tall? Is he leaning down? Is he doing,
And now, do you have to put in like a word as to what you're looking for? Like
when
to
you go,
let's say
when
we
you go
didn't
here
want
to
a dinosaur, we wanted I don't know, a flower or something.
Yeah, you'd pick flower. I picked the dinosaur. You pick the flower. Okay. insert 3D models.
Okay.
Okay. People can actually, if you work for a company that has 3D images and things like that, and do architectural work or things like that, you can make a 3D model. Somebody can have it and integrate it in, or the stock models are all the ones that are available online through Microsoft.
Got it.
Okay.
Oh wow, so, that's a lot of stuff. That is very cool.
Home decor. Oh, flowers and plants was another choice.
That's fine. This is really cool.
Oh, putting it in. Takes a few seconds. They're very detailed and they're large files.
Right.
But here it is. We can
awesome.
Change the direction to it, right? Just resize it, just like you would resize a picture or things like that, right? And all the same things you do with regular picture and stuff, or any text box, you can do with it, right? Whoop. Pick that again, 3D formatting, 3D model. Again, there's different things here. Different choices, it's going to change it around. So just change the view on it. I guess it's a view from the top. Here's a view from behind. So you can choose, kind of lays it out for you, or you can manually use this little thing in the middle to move it around and rotate it. So, and you can even create motion with static objects too by doing, things in the animations tab. You have ways of how does it appear? When you go to the page, you can have it float in and enter the page, or it could be on the page when you start. So all the different, there's all kinds of animation you can do to a PowerPoint presentation. Every single box and every single item that's in there, you can have actions and have, when you go to PowerPoint page, something to fade in, enter into the page, or bold and do different actions. Motion path, then create a motion path for it. And then when you go to that page, it's actually that item's going to move along the path. So you just move down. I just put a motion path for it to go move straight down. So on a click or after a certain amount of time, you can set up to have all these actions kind of happen. All right. So, so really cool things you can do if you have time to waste or spend doing it. I had a shark swim into the page, I had fish swimming around and a shark coming in and jumping out of the water, that kind of thing coming in. Kind of was pretty cool, but I wasted a lot of time doing that and wasn't very business related, just fun. So anyway. So 3 images. One other thing I want to show with PowerPoint, I just found this today, it came out very recently, is to create a animated GIF. So you can create a basic presentation, something that you can put in your email or put on text message, right? And send an animated image to someone, or create something to post into, again, Facebook, paste it in your email, text messaging, Facebook, Messenger, probably, I guess, Twitter, any of these things you can put it in. So this is slide number 5. So even this here, I'm going to just take this one page, and so I could have this guy walking here. You got a flower sitting there, and there's some information. So not that it makes any sense to this as something to send out, but I'll just show you how you can make this into a GIF that will be animated and working like this. So I go to File, Export. So instead of saving the file as something else and sharing it, I'm going to export it. So I can export it, and I'm going to export it as a GIF. Create an animated GIF. Okay, I'm going to click on that, and let me just move this so we can see what the choices are. Come on, move. Right. So this is what kind of quality the picture is. Okay, medium, low, high. You can try whatever. Medium probably will work well. Although I'm going to do small because I have that video image that might be really big. I had something that was too big to send it to Messenger the first time I did it with a large file. But just because I have that 3D model. So anyway, I'm going to create it, make it a small file, and create the GIF. Okay, so here it is. And where am I saving it? I'm just going to save it so I can find it. Let me put it in documents so I can downloads. Find it quick. And save it there. There's something I have in this presentation that's not letting me send it. Something that was probably a protected file or something. So let's hit continue. But I'll show you an example of one I just did today. This. Okay. So let's go to do a new share. Okay, this goes into the next thing I wanted to show. So we're going to do this. I'm going to show sharing my phone. Okay, so this is my phone, picture of my phone here. I'm sharing this through Zoom. Okay, and I created a GIF that I sent out.
Robert, there was a question. Can you create a GIF with a JPEG photo file?
Yep, you can do anything. Yeah, so this is like a little mini PowerPoint I put through, right? It's all animated, it's moving around, flipping between, the different scenes are moving. And this is just exported from PowerPoint here. And this is my phone screen we're looking at. I just turned it sideways so that it would pop up full view. And if I go back and hit done, this is right here. This is a text message I sent out right here. So it shows up right here, and you see it's moving right on my phone. So this is a cool way to send out a message to somebody, right? You're doing a presentation, or you're going to invite somebody to an event. Why not make a quick little presentation in PowerPoint, and now you can save it out, and now it's an interactive thing that they're looking at. Okay. And again, if I turn it sideways and I can click on it, open, it opens up full screen on it. My phone. So takes seconds to create it, and so again, you're going to get more interaction with video with something moving than somebody just text, a text message with a link to an event. Not very exciting. But you got a little picture, a little video, something to it. And again, it could be a live video of a person, talking even, that you'd have in PowerPoint and do it from there. So again, just another way to do it and do it quick. You can do it quickly and easily, create something like that. Okay. And even those backgrounds, that the way that those pages were set up with the middle page, I used the design ideas for it. And I put this little presentation thing together in, probably 10 minutes. And most of that time was figuring out, it was the first time I was doing it, making the GIF, is how to save it and then to get it in the right, And the first time I did it, I had a big file, 3D image doing something. So it was too large, 25 gig limit. And it was 26 gigs, not gigs, megabytes. But anyway, it was a big file. So anyway. So since I am on the phone right now, right, I'm sharing my phone screen, I wanted to show you what Word is in Office 365 on your phone. Okay, said it's all about anytime, any place, any device. Okay, so I'm gonna go to, here's my desktop, here's all my icons. I'm gonna click on here. You see I have an icon for Outlook. So my full Outlook is here. I have at the top right corner is Office. They now have all the Office apps actually in one icon, right? There used to be a separate thing to get Word, Excel, PowerPoint. They don't have it like that anymore. Now I'm going to click on Office. It's opening up my Microsoft Office. And you see it looks very similar to what I had before. Right at the top, I have recommended documents, things I've worked on before. Up in the top, my icon, my picture, see it says home? That's my home account. That's not my business account. This document with Joe Cummings, that wasn't in my other file, didn't show up before. I'm gonna click on here and change accounts. It's not, okay. They just changed this input here. I don't have the other accounts logged in yet, so just to save us some time, I won't switch accounts. I'll just leave it here right now. But typically my business and my personal would already be logged in. I'd have them both here. So I'm just going to stay here. But you can see, again, I have my recommended things here. Look, I clicked on it. Okay. So all recent documents and things like that I've worked on. If I scroll down, here's the things that I've had pinned to it. I have things I did today, last week. And again, you'll see things Word, there's PowerPoint, there's Forms, there's Excel, there's all different things here. So I can get to anything I want right from here. Or I could search. And I could search for even a word within a document if I wanted to try to find something. Eldor is one of my clients, right? So I clicked the things and I found different things that had Eldor. I have a PowerPoint presentation and a form that I created for them, employee COVID screening application. So these are different things that are within Office that you can find. And it will even search again into the document for words that it will look for the same thing, not just the name of the document, but it'll actually look into the content. Okay. So, so again, I can search for anything. I can also go to my home screen down at the bottom icon, and the plus sign is to, what do you want to add? A note. Lens is like a screenshot, taking a picture of things and saving it, or a document. So do you want to create, I want to create a document. So what kind of document do you want to create? Blank document, blank workbook, PowerPoint presentation. And these are actually new here, create a template. So there are templates built into PowerPoint that you can start from a template right from your phone, right? Excel, create from a template. So I can create a PowerPoint, Excel document right here on my phone. Here it is. I pulled up a template and I can start working. I can actually edit and stuff right here on my phone.
Robert, I actually have to attest to that because I've actually used my phone, which I'm on right now, and I have created PowerPoints just like that. It really is so simple. It's amazing. Yeah. It's become.
And again, you're probably not going to create it on your phone, but one of these documents that you've already created,
you might want to fix something.
You're going to edit it. You're going to fix something. You're going to see something was wrong. You're at it. You're going into the client, and you know what? I don't have to go on my computer to fix it. Or if you get new numbers and new figures for, whatever presentation you're doing, a new pricing or something, that you get late information, you can add it and edit it right on your phone, right? Or if it's a shared document, somebody in your office could edit the document and it's already done. When you click on it, you're going to get the new information because it's a shared document. So if they add it, it's going to go. But again, so from here, I can access any document from any application, or I can create a new document right from here, right? Dictate, I can start talking in the text and talking in the information that I want to put and write out the whole Word document, and there it is, enter and speak right into it, get it done. I'm going to delete the draft. But again, so I can create stuff right on my phone and, you know, right from here. And actions is new too. Transfer files between your phone and your computer. Right? A lot of different things you can do. So you go through these things. Sign a PDF. Oh, this is pretty cool. As you're working on a solution for somebody and we're looking for an easy way to sign things. And see if I can sign this document here, right here. Tap where you wish to sign. Done. Oh, there it is, signed document.
I love that.
Sign it and send it.
I use that all the time, actually.
And I don't think this needs to be licensed. I think I just found a solution for the client I was working with. Yeah, because the different solutions they had there cost like $5 a document to set up the digital signatures and authenticate it and whatever for it. So, so again, this is something you can just sign a regular document. You get a document sent to you for your, you know, permission slip for one of your kids at school. You can sign it right on your phone right here. Simple. Okay. All right. Office and in actions. Create a form right off of here. So you can create a survey right off of here as well. Forms is something we were going to look at in a little bit. So you can create a survey or a form online. If you ever use things like SurveyMonkey, Google has forms as well, or Gmail has forms through there. And Microsoft has forms built in too. So you can create a form right from here as well. Right? All right. So very powerful what you can do right off of your phone. Okay. So any questions around mobile device?
Not that I see. Let me see here. There's a question. Is the signature feature FDA 21 CFR 11 compliant?
Probably not. Don't know exactly what that one is, but this one isn't as secure as this. The program's called DocuSign, Adobe Sign. They both have integrations into Office, and those are a little bit more secure. So those are, they really document and regulate and track what it was, who signed it, when did they sign it, and that's probably, that regulation you're mentioning is probably needs that level of type of product to track it up there.
And Neil had a question. How do you sign again? Right click, then mouse pad?
Well, this again, from the phone, it was going to actions from the home, from the bottom of the page. It was, see bottom right, it said actions. I clicked on actions and there's a thing to sign a PDF right there. Okay, so sign the PDF. It opens up, goes to your files. You can go through your files and choose. So here's all my different OneDrives. Again, I have multiple accounts. You'll probably only have OneDrive for your business and you'll have your personal, you know, probably 2 choices or 3 choices. You also have sites, which is just the group storage. So OneDrive is one person, your own network folder, and sites or shared file, SharePoint is your shared files. Same thing as you would have in the network, right? Some things are for just you, and then other things are for the group. Okay, so again, I have access to my folder. Here's all recent folders that I just did things in. Because again, you're usually going to do stuff in things you just recently did. So it remembers where you were recently. So here are all different folders on my computer, different OneDrives, different network drives, whatever. and I can find whatever I want very quickly. Or if I want to save something somewhere, again, it's very easy to save. Once you created something, to save it here on your computer, or again on your drive. And again, it's accessible then anywhere and everywhere. It's not just on your phone. If you create it here, it's now accessible wherever you are.
Okay, Robert, there's another question. So what's the difference between Office 365, OneDrive, Sites, and SharePoint?
Okay, so I was kind of saying that there before. So it's OneDrive. So let's go back to in the old world when we were just in our office, right? We had a network, right? We have our computer and we have the network. And on the network, you have a folder that's the Robert folder or the Maria folder, right? You go in, that's your stuff. Nobody else can open your folder because they don't have rights, aside from the admin people, right? The IT people, and people can probably access everything. But you can only, that folder is your OneDrive now. So now it's that same folder, but it's in the cloud, and only you can get to it. Okay. The SharePoint is the shared folders. Basically what it is. SharePoint has some other things around it. SharePoint sites, where there's actually like a web page for that group of documents. So the HR folder may also have a web page tied to it, a whole little website tied to it. And now there's a program called Teams that is also tied to that same kind of SharePoint, that group site. So again, there's some different names for some of the things, but ultimately there's two kinds of storage you have. You have your OneDrive storage, and then you have your SharePoint storage, which is the shared groups. And actually, as I'm saying, it's really only one place, because when you click on OneDrive on the network and you look at the web address, it says My SharePoint in the web address, you'll see. So it's really all it's really one big group of stuff, places that things are like, it's on, again, it's like the network, it's at the server in that server room, right? That's what it is. But your personal folders are called OneDrive, and the ones that are shared are called either SharePoint, or it's on a SharePoint site, or it's in a team site. But they're really all just SharePoint or OneDrive. It's really the same thing. You'll see all the functions to save or share or do anything with it when we get to those pages. And again, we'll be looking more of it next week with SharePoint, with the OneDrive page, because OneDrive and SharePoint are the same thing. So we'll be kind of looking at the document stuff around it there. So I think that hopefully answered the question.
Robert, there is a question. It's a little off topic, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Is there a good free virus protection to replace McAfee with cable?
Yes, but I'm not an expert in which one or what would be. I would look online, look for some reviews, and just see what people are kind of recommending. But you need to be careful, because some of them are not really helping you. They're actually going to be giving you a virus and then asking you to pay for the upgraded version, because they're going to put fake stuff out there and pretend that it's something bad. Look at online for some recommendations, and there are some good free things you do there. But also the paid ones are going to stay more updated. It's going to automatically update for you. So I think it's worthwhile also, looking at, paying for it. They're not that expensive for it. So, okay. All right. Let's go on to a couple other things, look at a couple other features, and get back to, I'm going to jump back into the desktop and look at a couple of new things in Word. Maybe we'll look at Word real quickly. A couple of tips in Word. All right, I'm going to open a new document, pull up a template or something, so I got a little content to look at here. Okay, so all right, I'm just open up a document on here in Word. I'm on the regular full version of Word on the desktop, and they have something here called Resume Assistant. Okay, I haven't used this tool. This is a fairly new thing. Microsoft owns LinkedIn. So they're building these connections into LinkedIn. And so one of the tools they created was Resume Assistant, which you can get from, I think, the Review tab is where it is. Yeah, Review tab. You have Resume Assistant. And again, get started. It's going to walk you something and actually look at your resume. And just like that presentation coach, I'm going to coach you through your resume. Probably not as well as Maria will. But
Robert, could you just give me 1 second, guys? If you're talking in the background or if you have noise in the background, please mute yourself, because right now we can hear a lot of noise and it's very difficult for us to hear what Robert's saying. Please mute yourself.
Looking to see if I can see who it is.
I think I got it.
Okay, we got it.
Oh, yep.
All right. So, so this Resume Assistant, I haven't used it yet, but if you're in the job searching mode, or even if you're not quite in there yet, it's always good to have a resume ready, because these days we never know what's going to happen. Like I said, it's going to help you get started with it. And if you know, I know Maria does a lot of work with people with around their resumes and stuff. So nice little tool there to help get things started. Right? We looked at before a little bit about what's called co-authoring, so that we can be in multiple people can be in the document at the same time. Okay, so show that real quickly here. I'm going to share this document right now. So up the top right is a share button. Okay.
Robert, it's still showing your phone here. I'm not sure.
Oh, sorry, let me reshare the desktop.
I
was sharing just my phone. Thank you for. All right. So do you see the, it's a share in the middle? Did I share the right?
Yep.
Right screen? Okay. So what I was showing just before was the first thing in the review tab along the top and all the way to the right, you see it says Resume Assistant. So that's an app that's now built, or an app or a tool, right, built into Microsoft Word, where it will help guide you through a resume. Do it there. Okay. So I haven't used that yet, but it's done. It's part of, and it's also connected to LinkedIn. So it's probably going to pull data from your LinkedIn profile and help you create it. Microsoft owns LinkedIn, for anybody if you're not aware of that. So so they probably have some good integrations, and that would be a good thing to try out if you're again in that mode to get started with. All right. So what I'm going to do is now share this document. So in the top right, there's a little button, and most of in Word, Excel, PowerPoint, they all have a share link. And even when you're in OneDrive or when you're in the other programs, they have things for sharing. And so it's pointing to where do I want to share it from? Now I have to upload this first. This is a new document. I didn't save it anywhere yet. But if I don't have it in OneDrive, I can't share it. It doesn't let me share it. So I'm going to just put it here. Test this. All right. So now it's saving it in on OneDrive. And again, I could have picked a specific folder, something. This is just a little thing we're doing just for this, so I don't really care where it goes. Okay. So, and now it tells me anyone with this link. So I'm going to send a link to the document, right? Just like a website, a web link. Now you're going to click on a link and go to a web page. So it's saving it's basically saving the web page as to where this document is going to be saved. Okay. So anyone with the link that I'm going to send now can view the document. So that means they can look at this document, but they can't change it, right? So you're going to send out a price list to somebody, or maybe a proposal to someone for services. Send it viewable so they can't change your proposal, right? It's going to be locked. It's going to stay in. Only you can make changes, right? And if you made a mistake in it, you can actually change it, and they're going to already have the change. When they click on the document, they're going to have the changes already. That's the power of sending a link as opposed to sending a document. If you send an attachment, it's going to be different. It's going to be a whole separate copy. But I'm only going to send them a link. And again, I can choose anyone with link can access it. Only people in my company, only people who already have access to it, or I can say specific people. Okay. So I'm going to send it to a specific person, and I'm going to allow them to edit it because I want them to work on it with me. So I'm going to hit apply. So it's creating a link now. And now as you see, it says people who you specify can edit it. So who do I want to edit it? I'm going to send it to my personal email.
Robert, there's a question. Can you link a video?
Yeah. Yeah, videos, again, you would maybe store a video on OneDrive and that has a link. So you can send a link to that video, correct? Okay, so, but right now we're in Word, so sending a document. So we're sending this document, this resume here for this gentleman, and I'm sending it to myself, my personal, and it also recognizes that I'm not not part of the organization. So it gives you tips so that you don't send something out from your company by mistake, right? It gives you little reminders of things. So I'm sending this to myself, okay? And I'm not gonna switch over to my phone, but I'm gonna open it up on my phone as soon as it comes in a second. And actually, why don't I show it real quick because I can really fast. Share my phone screen because it's gonna come in here in a second. Should. Hello. Of course, it's not coming in when we want it to, right?
That's how it goes.
Yeah. All right. Okay. All right. It's going to open up in a minute. If it pops up in a few seconds, we'll share it, and if not, we'll just move along. Okay, go back to the screen where we were. All right, let me know when the resume shows back up again. We're back there.
The resume is here, but is something supposed to happen?
Nope, I just want to get back to the page. I was going to switch my phone and show what the email looks like. Basically, what's going to come in an email, it's going to say, Robert shared a link with you. And when I click on the link, the document's going to open up on my phone. And once it opens up on my phone, you'll be able to see I could edit it because I gave myself rights to edit it. Mm-hmm. I would be able to change this document from my phone, and we would also see my name showing up just like we did earlier, being in the document so that we could work because, again, I gave edit rights for it. But we'll show more of that next week, doing that with, again, working with OneDrive and sharing and stuff like that. So, so two other quick things. These are not new things, but these are things that most people don't know. Okay, I'm going to open up an Excel page.
There's another quick question. When you send a link, the recipients will need to have read and write access to update in the cloud? ?
There's choices in that box when you go to share, and it's going to ask you about whether you want them to be able to view it or to be able to edit it. So you're creating those rights there. Okay. All right. So I just opened up Excel file. So you see my Excel file has tabs at the bottom. So I have multiple pages, right, in this file. Okay. And sometimes you have an Excel where you got a file, you got a tab on one page that's related to something on a different page, right? Or if you have a large Excel file that's got hundreds of rows of data, right? You have to move back and forth to try to look at one thing or change something, or if you do something with a formula and it makes changes throughout the document, right? How do I see what's going on in different places? Okay. So what you can do in Word, Excel, PowerPoint, any of these is that you can actually be looking at the document in two different places at the same time. Okay. So let me show you what that means. So there's a button here. One of the tabs says View. Okay. And in the middle here, towards the middle, it says New Window. Okay. So watch what happens when I see who can tell me what happens when I click on New Window. So watch, you have to watch closely. I click on it. Okay, what happened?
It became bigger.
came a little bigger. That's not what I was wanting to happen, but it did become a little bigger, but that's, I don't know why that happened, but it did make it a little bigger. Hard to see with it because again, it's just data and this stuff doesn't mean anything, but this is the same page, the same thing. Got a little bigger, but it's the same thing, okay? But it's not the same thing. I'm gonna grab this top of the window. What I'm doing here, if you don't know how to do this, is I'm clicking, left clicking on the top row, the blank green area here. I'm gonna click and hold to the left, and then I can drag this whole window. And I'm gonna drag it to the right of the screen. And when it gets to the right corner, if you saw something just pop, you see a little box go around it? Okay, you see that little faded line in the background on half the screen? When I let go of it, it puts it on half the page. Okay, but what also is open behind that is, this is the same page. Again, the one side, for some reason, it made it a little bit bigger. But this is the exact same page. So you add a new bill of lading, number 18126, 18126. This is the same page. It just opened up in two different places. It's the exact same document. It's like a carbon copy. And if you look up in the top here, just move the mouse here. That's not showing it, it's kind of small. But the name of this document now is Tri-State number 2 and Tri-State number 1. It's the same page, just 2 copies of it. Okay, so what I can do with that is, if I go click on a different tab now, so if I go here, I'm on the right side and I just clicked on the company tab instead of that. So now I'm looking at the company page, but the other page is here open. If I change something here, so I'm going to do on row 17 of this company page, I'm going to type in there, putting in some X's in there, right? If I click on the other side and I go to the company page here, those X's are there too. It's the same document. I'm just looking at it in 2 different places. So I can be in 2 different places of the document at the same time, right? If you're on in a Word document, you got a outline at the beginning or a table of contents. You can be on the table of contents page and you can be on page 30.
So Robert,
you don't have to go back and forth.
A question on that is,
yep.
Is that the equivalent of the split screen feature?
Similar, but different. So this is, again, the same document. I put it in a split screen, right? So for somebody who's asking split screen, I'll go there. Now, whenever I close this out, if I close one of them, it doesn't affect the other. The document is still updated with whatever work was done. Closing one just closes the copy because it's really the same document. I closed it, doesn't change anything. It's the same single document, right? I just had 2 different windows, 2 views of it. In views here, let me make this bigger so I can see the split screen. Okay, so under the view tab, there's a choice called split. And if you had 2 documents open, you could split and look at two different documents, kind of side by side, it would split. I don't have 2 documents open right now. Otherwise, it would put them side by side. Can I hold something? Okay, split is the same. Yeah, split is opening up different windows in the same page. Very similar thing. I'm sorry, I didn't. I haven't used split myself very much recently, but yeah, it's very similar. And sorry, there's also side by side, which will put two different documents side by side. So there's similar things about, again, how you can arrange the views of things for it.
Robert, there was a few questions. The first one is, does it update on both sheets?
It's, again, think of it as a carbon copy. When you write on one, it writes on the other.
Okay.
So again, it's the same document. That's the key thing. It's different looks at it, but it's just letting you be, again, if you had a piece of paper and you had 30 pages, right, you could have 1 page here and 1 page there, but it's all the same document, right? It's the same thing. Anything you do to one happens to the other. If you close one, doesn't matter which one you close. No matter, even if you change it on one side, it's still going to be changed on the other side. So it's again, it's exactly the same. But again, it just lets you be in two different places at the same time, which can be very helpful. You're moving PowerPoint pages, and pictures from one page to another page. Have them both side by side, two different windows open. Now you can work together much more effectively. Got your agenda at the beginning. Have your agenda open. Now you can pull something off the agenda and make that as the start of your next slide, without having to go back and forth and look and find things around. Okay. All right. All right. Okay, this is the document I wanted to find here. All right. All right. All right. Okay, so this is a tool that's in here called, find it here. Okay, so it's called a data visualizer. What it does is actually to make, you'll see as we go in, ways to make charts, org charts, workflows. So if you have to kind of diagram out your processes or create an organization chart, that's this thing called data visualization. Got a complicated name, but here it's called it's a data visualization tool. So I'm going to click on this, and it lets you it shows information in a different way into a diagram. Okay. So I'm launching this thing. It's on, again, the insert tab. So again, I'm inserting something into Excel, data visualizer. Okay, I'll move this out of the way. Make this a little bigger because to cut it off here at the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to continue without signing in. It's going to continue this. So it's starting out the program. Okay, and it basically shows me what we're going to be doing here. Okay, so it's creating a little chart here. These are workflows, right? You see the one above the hierarchy. This is an org chart. Okay, so we have workflow charts, or we have an org chart we can create. Okay, so I'm going to create this workflow chart here on the second one, the horizontal workflow. So I'm going to click on that, and it's going to create a diagram. And you see, it just created a little table in the top corner, right? Process 1, 100, 200, 300, 400, the name of the processes, right? What's happening. And let's make this a little bigger so we can maybe read it better a little bit. But you notice here, the document, the first one, course module P200, right? That's the start shape. So the shape type is a start. It's this oval shape. A decision is a rectangle, a triangle shape, right? So it creates a little form here, but you can, again, copy this and create your own, put your own data in here. So for example, I'm going to copy field. Try this again. I'm going to copy this column here. Insert copied cells. Shift them down. All right. Okay, I added the row in here. I'm going to make that 201 just to change the number so it's different. And okay, so I added a row here. I'm going to change the name of this to test module. And I hit refresh, and you're going to see it's going to add in something that's going to look just like module passes review, which is this triangle shape here, right? And when I hit refresh, it's going to drop that extra step in there. test module, triangle, and the yes and no's. Again, it's going to go the same format that the other one had. If I change the different rows, it's going to change it a little bit. If you're not used to creating flows like this, this might seem a little complicated, but let's add in the org chart because that's a little bit easier to see, maybe.
Robert, there's a question.
Yep.
This is from Christine. She said, I recall there were limitations in past PowerPoint versions for the organizational hierarchy. If a company has 25 subsidiaries with second and third tier subs, what are the limitations? I end up creating an ownership chart in Excel manually.
Not sure if there's limitations, but if you try this tool, you may be able to try it much easier like this. So let me show you. We're going to click on the hierarchy chart here. Okay, creating the diagram. Let me try this again. There's a people hierarchy that was more of a workflow hierarchy or something there.
So Robert, I have a question while you're working on this. So I've noticed that nearly every other day, at least, I've been getting an email from Microsoft that they're updating things, that things are going to be no longer utilized and different things like that. Are they like overhauling a lot of these 365 platforms, or what's going on?
Yeah, everything's being updated so that it all kind of fits the same rules about sharing, and everything kind of works the same, and they're moving, a lot of things are getting kind of moved around. So, that's why you need to kind of get your mindset into about, how to do things, how to find things, and how to look around, where do things kept. So on the ribbon, they lay out different things, right? If you're going to insert something, you look on the insert tab, right? You're going to put something into the document, look for it there. And even more so than that is, if I can move this out of the way, is to search for things or go to help. Mm-hmm. Help is you can write in how to do something, and it will show you and tell you how to get there and give you links to do it right there. So again, if you go there and just ask, or you look, and as you're going through these, look, just keep your eyes open as you're doing something, in Excel. You move the mouse over to one of the other tabs. When you move your mouse over, it opens up Excel product suggestions, right? So click here to give us suggestions. Everything open up, it'll even tell you what the button's for. So if you didn't know what the button was, move the mouse over and read it. You might not need it today, but if one day you got to make an org chart, then maybe, I know I have it there. It's available. So,
yeah, because I noticed that they're calling it retiring a lot of different features, or I guess older features, and replacing them with new.
Sorry, I'm trying to run through this quicker to try to get it in, and I'm missing something with it. I don't know, it keeps opening up the diagram when I'm trying not to open it up. All right. So anyway, we won't waste the time here, but we're doing the org charts. You go on there, you click on the org chart, and you're going to see it laid out with, and by each person, which, what level they are in the chart, it's going to give, it had a number like, level D1 was the top, D2 was the next level, D3. So if you give somebody D3, they're going to be on the third level. So I think you could build out this chart and just add in different levels, and it's going to move it down. And I don't see why it would be limited, but again, it could be.
Okay, so since we are at the end of our time, I guess if we want to just like open up to any questions or.
And as we do that list, I'm going to show you one last little cool thing, just right here on the page to look at. 3D maps. I have here the page.